their diet. So it's really something that you as trainers should spend time, I guess, educating yourself about. Like I've been in the industry for 20 years and I find it's something I'm still learning about. The industry has changed a lot in the last 20 years as to how, what advice we give people. I guess the thing that you need to be careful of also is not to give advice outside of your qualifications. I know that there are some trainers out there, even some people that do the physique competitions that I do and that have no more formal qualifications that are giving diets out to people. And it's just, it's a little bit dangerous because you open yourself up to litigation, because obviously if they get sick or something happens to them, you actually get in a lot of trouble. So what we want to do is give you some information that makes you qualified to actually educate and give your clients guidance. So what the hope is on the other side of this is that you can then help yourself with your own diet, but also help the clients that you have. So,
awesome.
Shall I let you take over first, or?
That's up each other.
I feel like I need to spot my hair up or something when I send it.
You can't go Super Saiyan, so it's alright. Firstly, quick pop quiz. Can you ask the question that you asked me, please, and see what everyone else said about blood pressure?
Yeah, with the high blood pressure on that, which fitness test can you do?
Anyone want to answer that? Anyone confident?
What was the question, Jim?
Which fitness test can't
If
you
you've
do?
got high blood pressure, what fitness test can you do? Well, if you've got a client with high blood pressure, what fitness test can you give them?
Is anyone confident?
They can still do most of the fitness tests as long as they're not doing things like languages or things like that, or anything where they're putting their the weight or whatever above their heart or the legs above their heart. I'd stay away from anything on the ground. But most of the others they can pretty much do.
You probably wouldn't do any 1 rep maxes with them or anything like that.
Wow. Yes, true. Fitness testing last Friday. Was it interesting? Yeah? Did you go through most of the stuff in the book? Obviously some of it is sport specific, and you can see which ones you do want to use with your clients, which ones aren't really relevant to your clients' goals. But yeah, it's up to you guys to pick and choose that. You guys need to create your own document as you're going to get qualified at the end of the course, which you can put all of the tests on there, and obviously again pick and choose for your clients. Yeah, you have to type up your own one, same as you have to type up your own terms and conditions, your own pre-exercise screening questionnaire as well. Yeah, there are ones in here to follow if you want, but you can't copy it. Okay, so as Duncan said, this could be a course in itself for nutrition tonight.
This one actually tends to create more questions, so
it's a good thing.
Which is good. So if there's any questions that you have and you kind of feel like we're getting in a role in what we're talking about, write it down, so hopefully we can answer all your questions.
We do have a habit of getting on a roll, so ask questions when that happens, because we do want to answer them. One of the students is studying nutrition. Who is that?
She's not here, Stella. Isn't Stella?
No, just kidding.
At uni. Is that Stella? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think she wants to study.
I think she wants to.
Yeah.
Oh, she wants to go into.
She's not.
Alright, everyone, we all have, I suppose, preconceived ideas about nutrition, about what's healthy and what the media throws at us. There's different stuff everywhere. I suppose the general message that you want to send as PTs, again, is pushing your clients in the right direction. If you want to get really specific with nutrition, that's up to you. Whether you have the qualifications or not, again, it's up to you. But just point your clients in the right direction. Alright, let's start off with page 98 to everyone. Alright, so with poor nutrition, many clients you will encounter throughout your career in the fitness industry will have poor nutritional habits. This can be detrimental on their effects for their health and their fitness, and they won't get results. Most of these problems can be relieved by diet correction. Health problems caused by poor nutrition include vitamin and mineral deficiencies, high cholesterol levels, cardiovascular disease, hypertension or high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, gallstones, obesity, osteoporosis, and I could go on from there as well. Does anyone have anyone in their family who has any of those? Bunch of healthy families, this is good.
Yeah.
Counts. They do exist, and you guys as PTs are going to find how common they are as well. Usually these conditions come from come about from a diet high in saturated fat, trans fat, sugars, processed foods, with a lot of salts, no fibre, and poor intake of fruit and vegetables. That's very good right there. I always feel like that's highlightable. We can put an asterisk either side of that. It's very accurate. It's important that you understand the benefits of good nutrition and the role this plays in preventing the conditions listed above to help your clients to achieve good health.
Good nutrition. Okay. Good nutrition is extremely valuable. Not only is it to complement a training program and maximise benefit gain from exercise, but also for general health and well-being. Below is a detailed list of some of the major reasons why good nutrition is so important. Benefits of good nutrition include achievement of recommended daily intake of nutrients, normal growth and development, normal reproduction, maintenance of body systems, resistance to infection and disease, healing and injury repair, mental concentration, prevention of nutrition-reluctant chronic disease, e.g. CBD, hypertension, type 2 diabetes. So, turn over. Okay, so, the list keeps going. Increased energy levels, healthy BMI, body composition, body weight, elevated immune system. So that's a really good explanation as to, like at the moment I'm training someone that's actually training for a figure competition, and she keeps telling me that she's doing her diet herself, and I said that's fine. She's on a very low carbohydrate diet, which I told her that she shouldn't be doing, and she's noticing that she's getting sick very often, so which highlights there. So obviously if your body's lacking in any of the nutrients that it needs, obviously these things are going to occur. So it's a good way to actually, if you notice any of your clients are sick often, it's usually their diet related. So it's a good way of addressing their diet. So
one of my qualifications explains, and I'm a true believer of this, the immune system correlates with the digestive system, which therefore what you put in your mouth. So that's exactly what Duncan just said. That's it.
Yeah, one thing I remember, I saw I think it was a little YouTube clip, and it was talking about how most people are eating food that's calorie rich and nutritionally poor. Hungry for Change. It's actually a really good documentary. So basically people, their bodies are starving, so they just keep eating. And most processed foods out there are like that. They design them in a way where, you look at some of the McDonald's and so forth, they actually chemically design the food so they're addictive. Then they have no nutrition in it, so because their body's wanting nutrition, they just keep eating and eating and eating. So food manufacturers are very clever. They're trying to make money. They're not actually trying to make people healthier. So generally what it comes down to is the more natural food is that our clients are eating, they're going to be better off. So things that I would suggest that you do with your clients is when you take them, is even take them to a supermarket. You notice with the supermarket they have the fresh fruit section and meat in one area, and then the processed section. And the processed section is usually about 90% of the store. Have you noticed that? So obviously that tells you something about what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the majority of people to buy processed foods which lack nutrients. So what you need to try and do is educate your clients as to why they need to go for the natural foods. So
just continuing on from that, so imagine we got processed foods, the calories up here, and the nutrition in the food is down here, which is actually what your cells need to be nourished, so that your organs work properly, your hormones functioning properly, and you feel vital about just everything that you do. Calories and nutrition. And with whole foods, fresh foods, natural foods, we can reverse it or at least balance it out, yeah? So when you are not getting the nutrients for your cells, just for you to work properly, you just keep eating more calories, hence the weight gain, and you're making marketers a heap of money. And just continuing on from the supermarkets, the natural stuff you'll find is generally around the outside of the supermarket, not up and down the aisles. For a shopping tip.
Yeah. So the thing is, generally when it comes to our clients, most of them, the amount of energy that they consume is far more than they burn up. So one thing that's actually really beneficial to do with your clients is actually work out an ideal calorie range that they should be aiming for. So what we're going to look at now is determining the energy balance, or trying to determine actually what is the correct amount of calories that we should be encouraging our clients to consume. So where it says they're determining energy balance. Energy expenditure refers to the amount of energy or calories, kilojoules used to maintain life or perform certain activities. Energy and expenditure is made up of components described below. So, firstly, we've got resting metabolism rate, base metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy required. So this is something you guys really need to know. So some people refer it as BMR, the amount of energy required to maintain the system of the body and regulate body temperature at rest. This measure is taken after a period of overnight sleep and overnight fasting. Okay, so 60 to 70%, as you can see, does anyone see that diagram there? Yeah, so 60% of your calorie output is based on your metabolic rate. Okay, the other two parts, I suppose, is you've got the thermic effect of physical activity. So obviously when you're exercising, the energy cost of daily activity. This includes exercise, but also daily tasks such as walking, housekeeping, driving, and dressing. So what do you notice about people today in this area compared to, let's say, 50 years ago?
Drive a lot. Don't walk anywhere.
Yeah, so people are walking less, they're driving around, what else?
Stagnant jobs.
Exactly. So compared to 50 years ago, it's funny because food 50 years ago had less preservatives and less additives and less sugar and so forth. So food today that we buy on the shelves tends to have a little bit more calories.
They made it lazy.
Yeah, and then
Everything's
also,
about
Quick
convenience.
movie, yeah.
yeah. So, like I remember growing up, my mum always cooking a home-cooked meal that comprised of very natural produce, whereas today, sometimes I talk with some people and they ask what their parents bought them for dinner and it's all microwave processed foods, and a lot of those foods obviously are laden with extra sugar, extra salt, and the amount of nutrients is a lot less. So obviously, the thing is that's interesting is that, they say that 2/3 of the population is overweight. You imagine in another 20, 30 years. So the good thing about you guys, it means that you guys have a bright future in terms of employment. But yeah, we need to educate our clients about these things. So this is a big one. And the last one, thermic effect of food. So the food that we eat has an impact on our metabolism. Okay, so the amount of energy required above the RMR that results from the consumption, digestion, absorption, transport, metabolism, and storage of food within the body. This is usually about 10% of the total calorie expenditure. So that's interesting. Most people eat foods that absorb very quickly and have pretty much no impact on the thermic effect on the body. So if you're eating food that's raw, full of nutrition, it means it's going to have a bigger impact on your metabolism. That's why they talk about eating complex carbohydrates as opposed to simple ones, because of that effect. So we'll look at that a little bit further on there. So do you want to go through the metabolic rate? So what we're going to look at is how to work out someone's base metabolic rate.
Alright, can you all see the table there, figure 2, about 3/4 down, page 99? So for women, BMR equals 655 plus 9 times 6 is 80. This is where you guys are individual. You have to write your kilos and weight, write that down. If you don't know your exact weight, write something close to it. Men, don't write it down for women, you're on the next line.
If you have your phones and they have a calculator, this is a really good time to whip those out.
Yep. We normally spend like 5 minutes on this one. I'm sure you guys took about 10 minutes to do BMI and hip to waist ratio last week. Happens with every course. Alright, so if you don't remember maths from high school or university, guys, do what's in the brackets first and then add and take them together.
I know for some of you it's kind of like, this is testing my brain a bit, but as I said, like in terms of what can define you from being a top shelf personal trainer to just an average personal trainer, a lot of trainers won't actually do this with their clients. And you could actually make this as part of a PT session, sit down with them and say, okay, let's work out your base metabolic rate and show them, okay, your base metabolic rate is this much. Okay, how active are you throughout the day? And you can actually work out a good idea of how many calories they're burning, and then say, okay, well, talk to them about what they're eating, and you can actually show them how, the reason why you're not losing weight is because you can see that your energy output is so much less than what's coming into your body. So,
if my clients buy 30 packs, so like a minimum 30 sessions with me, I will go out of, like, not in the 30 sessions, but we'll make a time and I'll actually go to the grocery store with them for an hour and I'll just talk about stuff in the store for an hour with them one-on-one.
And being honest with you, I know that there's all these diets, these high protein, low carb, and all these different diets, and some trainers, you go on Facebook or you go on the media, there's all these different secret diets. At the end of the day, the secret of losing weight is to actually burn up more calories that's coming in. Okay, the more you can speed up your metabolism, you're going to burn more calories. So, like it says there, we want to eat foods that actually has a big impact on our metabolism. We want to be more active, and you'll find that if you actually are more active, the body's physiology will get better. Your base metabolism will actually increase, and then you'll slowly lose weight. So it's actually pretty simple. A lot of people make it very complex, like it's some sort of secret recipe or science. It's actually not. It's that consistency over a 6 to 12 week period of being very sensitive about your eating. 80% of the time eating very rich natural foods. You can have a little bit of bad food now and then, but that's pretty much about it as a summary.
Just backing up what you said, I've had a couple of clients gain fat or gain weight from eating chicken and broccoli. That's just backing up what you said. The quality of the food is important, but the calories in versus calories out approach, energy versus expenditure, is actually...
Is anyone struggling on how to work out their own base metabolic rate?
Who's figured it out?
I think so.
All good?
Did you get like 10,000?
If you're struggling,
No.
don't be afraid to put your hand up. It's no shame. Like most courses we have, at least, I remember one course we had half the students that were just a bit unsure how to do it. And the best time to figure it out is now. So if you're unsure, don't feel embarrassed. We're happy to. That's what these workshops are about, is to help you learn. So. And you're going to find it interesting for you if you can actually work out your own one, because what we want you to do is actually take this knowledge that you've learned today for your own training, so that you can actually learn how to control your weight better. One thing I always say to PTs that I mentor is that your most important client is yourself. If you can't actually, look after your own nutrition and training, it's very hard for you to help another person. So I really encourage you to, to think about yourself today, and then obviously then think about your potential clients that you're going to be helping.
Sorry guys, hands up who got it again.
That's everyone. Okay. Smart bunch.
You'll feel confident with it? Good.
Or after the class, if you feel a bit ashamed, you can come see us. That's cool. I understand.
Total energy expenditure. When estimating energy expenditure, a standardized formula called the Harris-Benedict equation is commonly used. This method uses BMR multiplied by an estimated activity factor. Although it is an estimation of total energy expenditure, this method is quite reliable on a normal individual who is neither obese nor extremely lean and muscular. Such as yourself. No comment. Professional. Alright. To determine energy expenditure, multiply BMR by the appropriate factors below. Okay, so this is where you're going to take it into yourself, guys. How active are you? Are you sedentary? None of you here are. Now, are you lightly active, moderately active, very active, or extra? I don't know how extra is more than very. You're going to do that math, guys. So whatever answer you got for the previous equation that you did, times it by anywhere from 1.375 to 1.9. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Is anyone here like a carpenter or a physical labourer? Any of those jobs? Steve? Yep, Josh. Yeah, so you guys should be 1.9. If you're exercising outside of work and you've got a physical requiring job, definitely. Let's write that down, guys.
Yeah.
not say my name, I swear I have my name. Okay, did everyone get an answer? Does it look realistic? If it's over 10,000 or below 1,000, I guarantee you it's wrong.
Who got less than 2,000? Okay, who got between 2,000 and 2,500? Who got more than 3,000? Okay.
Less than 5,000. In between 4,000 and 5,000? Yeah. Yeah, I thought you two should be right there. Good.
Who hasn't put their hand up yet? Okay.
You missed our range.
You missed our bracket.
Which was
3 to 3.5.
Yeah. 25.
2.5. Yeah, 24 up to 3.
Still a solid amount of food.
Yeah, that is.
For you boys, over 4,000 a day. It's actually a lot of food. Can be done.
2,000? She just put me up because I dropped 2% out that stupid card.
Table 1, guys, halfway down page 100. That's where you guys need to write down the calculation and the formula for that you guys have written the answers.
Oh, how did you guys go with Samara?
Yeah,
It was good. Good.
Yep.
She was dead.
Do you?
So I just reminded me how much I don't like Duncan.
None of them are going to speak bad about her in front of you.
No,
Why's that?
She's really good.
She's
but
lovely,
it's
he's dead.
motivating and
Oh,
positive.
yeah.
Yeah, like being honest, and
She's
I know some people say I'm biased because she's my partner, but the energy that she has, like she's like that with every single client. You know, the thing is that your time on this course, you're gonna obviously see good trainers and trainers like Samara that really is just fantastic, and it's an opportunity to learn and grow. Like her business is, she's
you
got
can
a
tell she has a passion for it.
yeah, like she's actually at Glenelg where we're based. Is that she's the most successful trainer. Like she was telling me, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, she's got 40 sessions in 3 days. You know, and I know some trainers at Good Life that struggle to get 20 sessions in 1 week. You know, so it just shows that that type of attitude is. Does anyone remember Steve Irwin?
Yeah.
You know, he was like this. He was excited, and the thing is that people. It looks a bit artificial the way he does it, but being a trainer that just stands there and yes, 5 more, 3, okay, next. People will get a little bit bored of that. So what I would suggest is that don't be fake, but the more motivating you are, people actually really enjoy that, So I just hope that that time with her, you really got something out of that, and you can, take that to your business because it's really important. So yeah.
Good job. Did everyone enjoy your writing programs? Was it good just to put that to practice, to actually go onto the gym floor and good. Okay. Energy intake. Energy intake refers to who's laughing?
Nothing.
I don't believe you. Energy intake refers to the total energy consumed for an individual. This is the total amount of calories or kilojoules gained from food and drink that makes up the diet. Each macronutrient that makes up what we eat and drink has an energy value listed below. This shows that fat provides far greater amount of energy per gram unless weight gain is desired. Fat should be kept to a minimum. I don't know about minimum, but in a controlled manner. Carbohydrates 16 kilojoules per gram, protein 17 kilojoules per gram, fats 37 kilojoules per gram. Next to that, guys, the calories. Carbs and protein has 4 calories per gram, if you want to write that down. Carbs and protein have 4 calories per gram. Doesn't matter if it's a fibrous carb or a starchy or a sugary carb. 4 calories per gram. Fats, 9 calories per gram.
Does anyone know how many calories alcohol has per gram? It's 8. Write that down.
Because that's right under that, guys, as well. Alcohol's next.
Oh, that's next.
That's
Sorry.
perfect. That's
I
perfect.
beat you to it.
Perfect.
It's like you've done this before.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, so in itself there, another little note, if you want to write this, is one way I get it across to my clients.
Is it?
Through all no, I won't complicate it. 1 teaspoon has 5 grams. So you say you're putting a teaspoon of coconut oil to use for cooking. You've just put 5 grams times 9 calories into whatever you're cooking. 45 calories just for 1 teaspoon. Yeah. Same deal as I'm not saying whether protein shakes are good or bad, but for example, like people that want a lean protein powder and it's got 3 grams of carbs per serve, that's 9 calories. That's
Are you going to bring up the supplement debate today?
2 grains of rice. Towards the end, maybe.
Do we have that long?
We could talk forever about that. We could sum it up easily, but
Me personally, now that's come up, is that supplements are there to improve recovery and enhance performance. It should never, ever, 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 ever substitute nutrition. Okay, I know that when you walk into supplement stores, they'll tell you that you need this stuff. You don't. You know, if you want to be healthy and have energy and be fit and so forth, you do not need to take supplements at all. And as trainers, some trainers go too far to recommend supplements to their clients. I mean, like I said, supplements enhance performance and improve recovery, but they're not necessarily healthy. A lot of supplements that are on the shelf, 90% of them won't be on that shelf in 3 years' time. Something else will come out. You know, what does that say about the supplement? Either it doesn't work or it may not necessarily be healthy. So one thing with food is that food is proven to be nutritious and to make people healthier. So be very careful on how you talk to clients about. I mean, because I know a lot about supplements, I know you use them, I do bring it up, but I always recommend good nutrition. You can't substitute, like in terms of protein sources, quality protein that you get from food. You know, and you'll probably find if you spend time talking with elite athletes that are trying to get in the best shape of their life, the closer they get to competition, they actually cut supplements out. You know, so I know that some young trainers, I hear them actually telling you got to take protein powder and all this sort of stuff. You don't. You know, you just need to get on, you know, good quality food. Spend more time in the fruit, veg, lean meat section.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
All right. To determine energy expenditure, multiply BMR by the appropriate. Back on page. To calculate total energy intake, the calorie kilojoule value for foods consumed is added together. So, an easy way to do that is using the app called MyFitnessPal. It's free, it's simple, it's got everything on this earth in there. You just type it in, it's easy. So if you want to calculate carbs, proteins, fats, work out your calories per day or your energy intake, MyFitnessPal is awesome and it's accurate, it's easy. Okay, energy balance. The energy balance refers to the balance between energy consumed for an individual and the energy expended. If energy consumption is greater than energy expenditure equals weight gain. If energy consumption is on par with energy expenditure, maintain weight. If energy consumption is less than energy expenditure, weight loss. So that comes back to what Duncan said about calories in versus calories out, energy intake versus energy expenditure, coupled with thermic effect of food and exercise. Okay. The illustration below shows the concept of what I just said. Understand, everyone?
Okay, we're on to nutritional recommendations. Often a client only needs to make a few small twerks. Sorry, I was thinking twerks. Sorry. To their diet. It might be like an exercise they do. To their diet to largely increase the nutritional value of their food intake. Other individuals will need a substantial change to their eating habits to assist in weight loss and health benefits. Some examples of what the client in your assignment could do to improve nutritional value of their diet are decrease sugar intake. That is a huge one. Okay. Being honest with you, if your clients just reduce or cut out sugar, it would have such a huge impact on their body's physiology in many ways, in their mood, their energy levels, and also their ability to lose body fat. So that's a huge one, because there's so many foods that are hidden with sugar and processed sugar. And also, they're very tricky. They won't say sugar, they'll call it sucralose or glucose, or they give sugar a different name, which is actually sugar. So one thing that might actually be good is actually helping you guys. Maybe next time we see you, we can give you a list of all the different names that sugar actually comes under, because you'd be surprised. Like, I've actually seen some products that say sugar-free, but it's actually got sugar in it. They've just it's called something else, and somehow that they get away with it according to the nutritional data that's, that the government actually allows. So they're very sneaky.
MSG and aspartame has
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest ones right there. There's a lot of hidden sugars that are in food. Swap, remove, alter, chocolate bar, added sugar to coffee, and Wheat Bix, chocolate milk, ice cream, Oreo biscuits, soft drink. Decrease fat intake. Swap, remove, alter, full fat milk, macaroni and cheese, pizza, ice cream. Increase water intake. That's actually a huge one as well. You would actually be surprised the impact that drinking lots of water has on making your body healthier, in many ways. I remember going to a seminar, and they were talking about elite athletes, and elite athletes, if their fluid intake or they're dehydrated by 5%, it actually can impact their performance by up to 15 to 20%. So drinking water is a huge one. It helps eliminate byproducts, but yeah, in terms of just being healthy, it's a huge one. Decrease alcohol consumption, introduce more fruit and vegetables, decrease simple carbohydrate and high GI foods. Does everyone know what GI stands for?
Glycemic index.
Yeah. Does anyone know what a glycemic index is about?
What does it mean?
Yeah. So, does anyone know what the glycemic index is about?
Have a go if you're confident.
I thought it
Yes, the scale at which the carbohydrates break down within your body. A slow GI will take longer to break down, therefore provide energy over a sustained period, whereas the low GI will actually have it done.
Yeah.
shorter, be
Very
absorbed
good.
quicker.
And people that have diabetes has to be very obviously careful of that. So one way I heard it described is that sugar has an impact on your blood sugar levels. High GI foods will have a big impact, and low GI will have low. And like what Gus said, is that complex carbohydrates absorb slowly, so there's not as much impact. So you want to try and go for foods. We're trying to avoid foods that are high GI, so obviously try and go for foods that are low GI. Decrease portion sizes. Weetabix is in there a lot, isn't it? Macaroni and cheese, pizza and ice cream. Increase lean protein intake. Eat breakfast closer to waking. Eat more regularly. Space meals and snacks evenly over the course of the day. Limit the frequency and size of high fat and sugar close to bedtime. So there's some really awesome tips that you give your clients. The thing is, as trainers, most trainers, if your clients could do all those things, you could come up with the 10 commandments of nutrition and choose the 10 best ones and then say, and keep them accountable on those things. And as personal trainers, I guarantee that they'll break one of those commandments throughout the week, and you can get all religious about it. You can get all let's try and focus on that. So if you had a client that actually hit all 10 each week, the impact that would have on their body would be dramatic over 6 weeks. It's just most people don't, So if you're trying to summarise the best way to help your clients as far as nutrition, choose the 10 best ones there, and you do an amazing job with your clients in relation to their diet. So
Out of those 10, if they were to choose 6 or 7 and do them consistently, the changes that will happen to their body inside and out will be phenomenal. Most PTs will tell their clients to do 10 things and they'll take on board 2 of them. I want you all to go through those dot points that we just went through with nutritional recommendations, and I want you to highlight or put an asterisk on 3 that stand out to you as an individual.
So one way you can actually do it is, I know some PTs will get their clients to fill in a food diary, and what you can do is just use those 10 compartments as kind of the laws that they can't break, and then you give them feedback on how they're doing, and that's actually not you necessarily writing them a diet, but just giving them guidance. And it's actually an awesome way to actually counsel your clients on nutrition. Get them to fill in a food diary, especially if they're trying to lose body fat, and just say, and if they do really well, the first week they might only keep one of the commandments, and you say, okay, let's go for 2. And then you find that once they get to a point where they're hitting, 8 out of 10, you're going to be amazing impact it's going to have on their results, So one of the things as trainers, we have to keep them accountable, check up on them. It's just most trainers will not go there. The client comes in, they train and they leave. The thing is though, is that, and I know Kim's brought this up before, does anyone know how many hours are in 1 week? You've heard Kim say it before.
It's something I live by, guys. You should remember it.
Yeah. Does anyone know? Got a calculator? 168. Yeah. So let's say if you see a client once a week, so you're only impacting them 1 hour out of that 168. So there's another 167 hours that you're not actually going to see what they're doing. And they could sneakily add things. How's your diet going? Yeah, good. And then that's it. Whereas if you get them to write it out and then use those commandments as a bit of a way of keeping up on how they're doing, it might take you 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes honestly will have more impact on their results, especially if nutrition is such a big part of making someone healthier. So if there's anything that you're going to get out of today, that's one tool that will really make you a better trainer than probably a 90.
Because a lot of people don't realise what they're eating
Unless
unless they write it down.
Exactly.
They'll realise actually how much they're eating.
You look at it in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they just put it in their mouth without thinking. I watch my husband do it all the time.
I can tell you a really funny story about a trainer that was trying to get his client to lose weight and would do that, and the client wasn't losing weight. And then it actually got to a point where this trainer was finding out that the client was actually bad-mouthing them behind their back. So this trainer's not very good, don't get results for them, blah, blah, blah. He got so offended because he was looking at their diet, training them probably 2-3 times a week. And I would not recommend this, but he did this. He went round their house and had a look in their bin and found all these packets of Tim Tams. So this is going next level PT. This is like, so he confronted them and, they're like, it's a funny story, but it just shows how, some people will be transparent and some won't, So, it's a funny story though, isn't it?
Going on that, does anyone know how many calories are in one standard chocolate Tim Tam? Anyone want to have a guess?
Are we talking the triple coated ones or
Or just the plain.
the different?
I know. You asked, what are you going to do with 10 calories? Yeah. 100. How hard is it to stop at 1?
So how many Tim Tams are in a packet?
You can get the little mini ones that have like 5, I think.
I know the triple chocolate has 9 and the standard ones have 11. So if you actually have it in orders, so if you eat a whole pack of Tim Tams, what's 11 times 100?
700.
So whose calorie intake was 2,000?
It's like half.
That's like your half calorie intake.
In one snack.
Yeah.
Never eat a whole pack.
I could not go for the
6
whole
maybe.
day without eating anything else.
What, a whole pack of Tim Tams?
Like, for the rest of the day you can't eat anything else.
Yeah.
It would kill me.
Good eat. Going back to your funny trainer story, would you do that? Go ahead. I wouldn't.
No, that's gone too far.
Australian
How would you
orders
confront-
and stuff. Yeah, funny things.
It's not going to make
I might take
change
offence
anyway.
confronting him about that.
What's that?
How do you go confronting him about that with them?
Well, I know some trainers, they're so, some trainers are so adamant if their clients don't get results, they either get rid of them or they go hard on them, I think it's important that we keep our clients accountable to their results, but you've got to kind of keep them accountable to themselves, like say, okay, this is what we're going to do you agree to that? And then next time I see you, I want you to judge on how well you did. So you're actually there just throwing the questions at them, okay, how did you feel you went? Oh, it did awesome, and then you actually ask them a lot of questions. So what did you do? And then say, look, so do you really think you did really well? I mean, at the start of the week, we said that we were going to aim for, eating every 3 hours or eating regularly. We said we were going to have breakfast within 2 hours of waking up. We were going to try and eat, a quality breakfast, drink more water. Did you do all that? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so then you can actually say, well, by you doing these things, and then you can get, how we looked at before, the impact that a good diet has on the body, increases the immune system. What were the other things?
A good diet.
A good diet, what's it going to do for your body? The thing is, as trainers, you should actually be able to just rattle these things out. The reason why we want you to do all this stuff, because they're just going to be thinking, I don't want to do the stuff that's boring. You know, it's
Boring,
hard,
boring.
it's restrictive. But then you actually remind them, okay, by you doing that, it's going to, normal growth and development, normal reproduction, maintenance of the body systems, help you lose weight, resist infections. So these are things that you need to constantly remind them of why they're doing it. You know, sometimes just, so you can lose that 10 kilos in the next 10 weeks will help, but it may not be enough. Because most people generally, if you ask them, they want to be healthier. And reinforcing the things that you need to do so that happens is really important.
I always bring up the emotional connection to their goal. Okay, you want to lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks, why? And normally you can bring them back to, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing it. Want to feel more confident, self-esteem, want to achieve something.
Yeah. I mean, one way, you might have a little cheat sheet that you use, the benefits of a nutritionist diet. Your 10, it might be, Gus's 10 commandments of nutrition or whatever. You can tailor it. Yeah, you can tailor it yourself and come up with your own little gimmick. And, it's just like, we'll try not to break the 10 commandments because we don't want you to go to hell. I mean, that's a really bad way to put it. But yeah, but whatever you can do to motivate your clients, so if you can get so yeah, the first time you might try it with them, they go, okay, how'd you go this week? And they go, I didn't do one of those. And then next week, they might do 2. So that's fantastic.
Progress.
Okay, so progress. Let's see if we can go for 3. Yeah, encourage them. So that's the way to do it.
Healthy guidelines. To lose weight in a healthy manner, the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating and Dietary Guidelines for Australia should be followed. A summary of some nutritional recommendations you should give to a client to encourage them to lose weight or in a healthy manner are: enjoy a wide variety of nutritious foods. Eat plenty of vegetables, legumes, fruits. Plenty of cereals, preferably whole grain. Include lean meat, fish,
What are
poultry.
legumes? Does everyone know what legumes are? I remember the first time I thought that, I was like, what is that?
Really?
Does everyone know what? Who doesn't know what legumes are? Be honest. That's okay. What are legumes?
Beans. It's like, because within beans, there's like 20 different types of beans.
Chickpeas, lentils, soybeans. That's what they are. So
Include milks, yogurts, cheese, and alternatives. Reduced fat varieties should be chosen where possible. Drink plenty of water. Take care to limit saturated fats and moderate total intake of fat. Choose foods low in salt. Limit your alcohol intake if you choose to drink. Consume only moderate amounts of sugar.
who's got a bottle of water with them? Good.
Someone pull out a Coke.
Good.
Limit alcohol intake if you choose to drink. Consume only moderate amounts of sugar and foods containing added sugars. Aim for a minimum of 30 grams fibre per day. In saying that, like, not enough fibre is not good. Too much fibre is the same thing, it'll clog you up as well. I reckon 45 grams to be specific. Yeah, again, that's going back to studies that I've read. Choose low GI foods in preference to high GI foods. Same deal again, blood sugar levels, energy, consistency, and insulin control. A word of warning. As personal trainers, it is important to understand exactly what nutrition advice you can offer to clients. The amount of information you can offer is relative to your qualifications and experience in nutrition. Please discuss the levels of nutrition advice below. This one's important, guys, because a lot of PTs cross this line.
So a personal trainer is not qualified to offer nutritional information or particular diets that claim to be beneficial for treating nutritional deficiencies or medical conditions. Not qualified to give advanced nutrition advice. Nutritional information should be limited to the fundamentals of good nutrition and health. As a personal trainer, you can give general nutritional advice to healthy populations in accordance to the Australian Dietary Guidelines. So this is a really interesting topic. I know that, like, when we work for Good Life, and you'll hear our state managers say you can't give nutritional advice. But if you don't actually talk to your clients about nutrition, you are actually going to not help them get healthier and so forth. So, as I said, one way to do it is to get them to write out what they're doing, and then create your own little 10 rules. Obviously you could have more, but on the a few pages before we had on 101, we had 1, 2, 3. There's probably about 12 things there. You might use them as the basis of, okay, this is how you're going to actually check and keep your clients accountable. And just by doing those things, you would be hugely surprised the impact it's going to have on them, without actually writing out a diet and, that sort of thing. You can give them nutrition information. If you download something on the internet, you can say, I found this really cool article. I want you to read it. Tell me what you think. Okay? And obviously, if it comes from a dietitian or a nutritionalist, an organisation that actually has the authority to talk about that stuff, it would help them. So, the next one, obviously, accredited nutritionalist. So, one thing that we talked about before is developing relationship with doctors, physios, chiropractors. We did talk about nutritionalists. Remember how we talked about that, about allied health professionals? So it would actually make sense to actually, especially if you want to go to coach people in more specific things or whatever, to actually get a nutritionist working with you. Accredited nutritionalists are tertiary qualified nutrition professionals that have expertise in a range of nutrition services, including public health nutrition, community health, and tertiary education related to nutrition, but including individual dietary counselling, group therapy, and medical nutritional therapy. So if we go to the next one, an accredited practicing dietitian, or ADP, have the qualifications and skills to provide expert nutrition and dietary advice to groups and individuals. They have sound university qualifications, undertake ongoing training and education, and comply with the DAA guidelines for best practice, as well as the DAA professional standards. So there's actually one sort of diet I actually use to help is the CSIRO diet, something that the actual government put together to actually help people on fat loss. So if you actually look up the CSIRO diet, it actually talks a lot about helping people trying to lose weight. It's a governmentally funded program. You can look it up online, and it's a really good way of actually, if you have clients that really want to lose weight and they want, you to come up with the secret antidote, obviously those 10 things we talked about, you can use the 10 commandments, but that might be something else that actually you use as well, which will help. Okay. So we've got a little bit of an activity coming up now to work out the actual, so below are 3 different foods with different amounts of energy and a list of exercises and the average energy output for each. Calculate how long, that smells really good. You bring enough to share for everyone?
No.
Get your phones out, guys.
No
Calculate
way.
how long it would take to burn the amount of energy in each of the foods for each exercise. 3 exercises have been chosen for you. So obviously on the page next to that it shows the calorie output over 30 minutes based on.
So we're figuring out how long in what exercises do we have?
Yeah.
Aerobic cycling rowing machine, how long of those exercises will it take to burn off those kilojoules or calories?
So saying here for aerobics, over 30 minutes, you will burn 10.6 calories per kilo. So if you weigh so 50 kilos, that would be 500 calories. That's how it's worked out. So good luck. If you need any help, put your hand up.
We just times by body weight as it says. So 10.60 times, say 76 kilo.
Oh, but how?
Which is 805.6. six.
So we'll do.
So it's 805.6 kilojoules.
Make sure they're doing kilojoules, guys, not calories. To calculate an estimated number of kilojoules burned in 30 minutes of exercise for your body weight, simply multiply the kilojoules per kilogram.
So it's a 10.6 kilojoules.
For aerobics, yes.
Multiply by our weight.
It's 805.6.
And then
And what do you do after that?
So we're trying to figure out how long it will take. Like on the table on 104, we're trying to figure out the amount of time that it's going to take to burn off those calories using that formula.
So this is for 30 minutes.
Yes, it's going to take.
That's right, I remember this confused me as well.
So
It's something to do with 30 minutes.
Yeah, you work out how long, so you go your kilojoules per kilo times your weight divided by 30 will tell you how many kilojoules you burn off per minute. Then go with your total kilojoules divided by that number will tell you how long it takes you to burn that amount.
So whatever the weight times 10.6, whatever that is divided
So
by
your
that.
weight times 10 point, so for example me, I go with a 10.6 times my weight, which is 87, gives me 922.2. So 922.2 kilojoules in 30 minutes. So if I then go 922.2 divided by 30 will give me a number of 30.74. So I'll burn 30.74 kilojoules per minute of exercise. You then go to 938 kilojoules, which is the amount you want to do, divided by the 30.74, which means that it will take you 30 minutes and 30.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Too disciplined.
Okay, I get it.
Got that?
Yeah, I got it.
In 4 courses, this has never happened. Gus, can you please come up here and explain that to everyone?
Really?
I got it.
Yeah.
Don't use so many numbers, but use the formula that you just said.
The formula basically is
Listen,
that you
guys.
work, the idea is to work out how many kilojoules you burn in a minute. Make sense? So your base formula is the kilojoules per kilo times your actual weight divided by 30 will tell you how many kilojoules you burn per minute. To then work out how long it will take you to burn the kilojoules for your fruit salad, you take that kilojoule level there and divide it by how many kilojoules you burn per minute, which will give you the amount of time it will take you to burn those kilojoules in minutes, obviously. Make sense?
Must be fucking retarded. I had a pretty big day, man.
Every day.
With sparring shit.
So, what's your, if you go look at your weight,
Yeah, what's the next one?
so you go kilojoules.
Yeah.
So this figure
My weight
here,
was 76.
so that figure there, 10.6
That one there?
Yep.
Yeah.
times your
Yeah,
weight
I had that
I'm
going.
doing myself.
10.6
times.
by
It's divided.
Yeah.
Divide that by 30.
I got 50.
So you would burn 26.85 kilojoules
Yeah.
per minute of exercise doing
Emergency
What's that?
Emergency alert.
Yeah.
to work out how long it will take you to burn these in minutes.
Yeah.
You've got
Minutes.
938
5 minutes.
divided by
I got 44.
26.85.
So it's still taken.
You said your total.
divided by 26.85
Go back here.
equals, so
Do
it takes you
10.6.
4.9
Yeah, do
minutes
that.
to burn 938 kilojoules to
Then you've got-
the impact.
Yeah.
Alright.
Makes sense?
Divided by
Yeah,
30.
shit,
Yeah,
mate.
like
Could be
that,
able to
yeah,
do
18.
it.
Right, so now you
Like
get,
that.
yep, now you get that divided by 18.
So 2.
Yeah, 52 minutes, yeah.
That.
Yeah, for 8 months. Last
This is actually really interesting because you know when you're eating, I've heard someone say, oh, when they eat something, oh, I'm not going to eat that because it's not worth the calories. So often people will do things without thinking about the impact that their decisions have on their lives, you know. So that's the thing with food, is that if you actually look at the amount of calories that are in certain foods and then work out how much activity needs to take place to burn that off, it might change your decision or your client's decision whether they're going to eat that again, or they might eat half of it, or you know what I mean?
So obviously apply the same.
So Kim, like for example, you're saying 1 tin tan is 100 calories, which is about 400 kilojoules. So
Yeah.
how long would that take you to burn that off if you were doing low impact aerobics?
3.5 minutes.
Pardon?
3.5 minutes.
No.
No, mate. Oh, I was thinking, calories, not good.
What's that?
400 kilograms. It's only 14 minutes.
Kim reckons it's about 9.5 minutes of low impact.
For me.
So you're basing this on your own body weight, so how long it would take you to burn up a fruit salad doing low impact aerobics?
Just half.
McDonald's quarter pounder, 460 calories.
I don't like the line machine, so I would go with the
The thing also that's interesting is, like, for example, you know how we said that certain foods have a thermogenic effect on the body? So obviously, like a Big Mac has virtually no thermogenic effect because it's, you know, it's processed foods, whereas the food next to it's a good fish and chickpea salad, which is half the amount of calories, probably fill you up, and has a bigger thermogenic effect in the body because it's more fibrous. You can sort of start to see the impact why, you know, chicken, fish, or chickpea salad is a better choice than a cheeseburger or a quarter pounder.
We can take it. Just go ahead.
I think it would be just back to the way that I ate after Asia Pacifics.
Has anyone heard of this diet, you know, as long as it fits your macros? Has it heard? That's something that's come out the last 2 years. The thing is, you are what you eat, you know, so you can get your macros right, but obviously if it's highly processed foods, the thermogenic effect is very minimal. So you're not going to burn up as many calories, where if your macros comprise of good natural produce and foods that are natural and healthy, it's going to have a bigger thermogenic effect and you're going to burn more calories. So I don't actually, macros is certain, it does help to a certain extent, but you know, you got to make sure your calories right, eating good quality food makes a big difference.
Same as like, yeah, you can probably gain weight or lose weight through if it fits your macros, but the thing that they never talk about is what it does to your hormones on the inside. Estrogen, testosterone, insulin, cortisol, these are all heavily affected. Blood sugar levels will be heavily affected, your energy will be up and down. And then there's a new one that's come out in the last year called flexible dieting, which is halfway between if it fits your macros and clean eating, which I don't know enough about to confidently comment. But yeah, I'm thinking about it too. Does that fit your macros?
It's not too bad.
We're making progress, guys. Has anyone finished all 9 boxes? Excellent, Joe.
About 10 seconds.
6,
Plus
5,
yeah.
4, 3,
It doesn't help.
But
Doesn't help when you're counting.
8-minute plank. Let's go.
Carry the 2. That's all I had to do is look at that number and put it down. You messed me up.